this. This might just be throwing something at the wall, hoping that it sticks, because he knows that he can go back and rely on the Mordex.
Yeah, he's definitely got some room to play with again in these best of fives. Lots of opportunities to adjust, adapt, and overcome. Snowy going to start it off, not able to pick up a weapon, but he does get the axe. Gets a neutral light onto Sandstorm, but not able to maintain that pressure.
We're seeing the axe come out from Snowy. There's a side air from Sandstorm. We'll see how the damage output continues throughout this game. Something that Snowy was maybe struggling with earlier that we saw is he was taking a long time for him to finally knock his opponents out. They were in the red, and he was struggling to find some side airs in one of the previous sets he was playing against, partially against Blazy, just because he was jumping around so much. We'll see if he maybe has a better chance with that here, if he finds some more signatures on Sandstorm, because it is the Undertaker. That is a very high defense legend, so he might struggle to find those knockouts. May need 1 or 2 more axe side airs to get the KO.
Yeah, that's one thing that Rayman as a whole is going to struggle with, is that not having that clear KO confirm, right? The way that Sandstorm, if he gets enough damage onto Snowy, can go for a D-Light Sair or a Side-Light Sair. Snowy doesn't really have that as a consistent option. He does have the damage lead, but he threw away the axe. He does like to go for those weapon tosses in neutral.
That down air was almost close to hitting Snowy on that. It wasn't really a weapon toss, but he did technically toss the weapon towards Snowy, using that right over the corner. That's a neutral signature, a little bit of a weak punish. I think Snowy just wasn't ready to have a punish moment there and didn't feel comfortable maybe thinking that extra frame or two that he needed to find a D-Light that would lead into the recovery. Does eventually find the recovery on the gauntlets when he was unarmed before. That's going to give Snowy the lead here.
Yeah, I'm surprised that recovery was enough to KO. Like you were saying earlier, Sandstorm on this Undertaker, one of the highest defense legends in the game. We've seen Undertakers survive for so incredibly long. The chase into the recovery, trying to even it up.
I thought he was going to get hit by that, Duke.
It was close. There's a lot of active frames in that spiral, but it's going to be the side sig that evens up the stock count.
Still just a little bit of a lead here for Snowy. He's going to spawn right back in, grab weapons very quickly. We didn't see Sandstorm attempt the weapon starve or anything like that to keep Snowy at the weapon disadvantage. See when the next spawn comes in, if either player makes the move towards it. Snowy finding some good 2 hits there. Nice little string option. Does land, hits the side air. Sandstorm tossing his weapon away. Nice side sig came out from Snowy, hoping to cover the weapon toss. Possible big opportunity here for Snowy. Sandstorm completely dips away from it, knowing how strong Snowy is on the edge, knowing how strong gauntlets are on the edge.
That's crazy that Snowy went for that D-Sig. 1, because Sandstorm's been so good against playing around everyone else's signature kits, and 2, because Snowy didn't do that D-Sig in any of his previous sets today.
Yeah, we'll see if he continues to do that on the edge, because it is one of those signatures that kind of hits in a unique way over on the corner. Like, not a lot of characters have, like, down at a 45-degree angle that they can throw over and still put some distance between them and, Snowy. Another nair. That's, like, pretty good, but he needs the KO option. Weapon toss. That was something. Oh, my gosh, the weapon tosses made Snowy, like, look a little bit not confident in some of his previous sets today, where, like, that was the primary ending point of a lot of his stocks, were weapon toss, weapon toss, weapon toss, weapon toss.
Yeah, I mean, weapon tosses are definitely like a war of attrition tool, right? Like, they hit, they give you that range, they'll stop the opponent, but they really don't do a lot of damage. What in the... That was an on-stage ground pound to bounce Sandstorm for the KO.
On a Thor, too. That's crazy. We rarely see ground pounds on stage with a bounce to get the KO off the top. That's pretty crazy. I can't believe that actually KO'd there. Snowy's still in a pretty good spot. I don't know if a Stomp Sair will knock him out. I think it might. If Sandstorm hits it in the middle of the stage, we might see him go for a dare to send off the top. That was something that Sandstorm and Boomy, I think maybe just at least Sandstorm, was doing yesterday in 2v2. Doesn't even have to worry about the stomp setup. They were really high in the air, so of course the dare is going to take off the top there. But again, Snowy has a similar lead that he did when he took the first stock off of Sandstorm.
Yeah, Snowy looking pretty good here. Gonna back up, though. Retaining these gauntlets gives him a lot of opportunities to build his damage. He's been doing a good job of getting that second hit, something that's not always guaranteed with a weapon like the gauntlets.
His 2 pieces have been nice, and they have been plenty today. Almost like KFC sending out those 2-piece buckets.
Yeah, he's pulling off of the, I don't think it's the dollar menu, but there's definitely a menu where you can get those 2 pieces for cheap. Snowy, though, gets back that soft platform, helping him out. You saw him in the sweat beads, but he had movement to get to that soft platform.
Snowy really starting to fall behind here. Sandstorm finding good damage. He's really close to the territory where he can find that easy stomp side air and get the KO. He already found a nice neutral signature on the orb earlier. I was a little bit worried that even might KO just based on where he hit it. Snowy, without a weapon, Sandstorm. He sees Snowy backing up, quickly throws his weapon away so he can starve the field.
Yeah, I love the way Sandstorm decided to push that, right? Like, he got the weapon and immediately dashes forward, and he's like, Snowy, if you're going to back up, I'm going to take all of this stage that you are giving me. But at the end of the day, they're both relatively even in damage. They both have the weapon.
Ooh, that was a slow weapon toss. He didn't get a dash to up that speed on it whatsoever.
Oh,
I thought we were going to get another down air as a spiking maneuver, but Sandstorm got up. Neutral light from the middle of the stage, just a little bit to the right, maybe 10% to the right. Not enough. Snowy finds the ground pound on the edge. Game 1 goes to Snowy.
Oh my goodness, what a play from Snowy, and it's crazy because his play was to do next to nothing for as long as physically possible, right? Like, he just had to be in Sandstorm's face long enough that Sandstorm just got faked out, burned the dodge away. There you're seeing that dodge, and Snowy's like, now's my opportunity. Hit the ground pound, take game 1 over the top seed.
Once Sandstorm got the lead back on that final stock and we were seeing Snowy get deeper into the orange and then turning red, while Sandstorm was like at the later stages of yellow, beginning of orange, I was like, yeah, this is curtains for the first game. No shot he brings this back, but he did, man. Snowy is clutching up today. Such good work from him. When here recently, he hasn't really brought his games deep into the bracket, definitely not this far in quite some time.
Yeah, Snowy has not historically done this well in the 1v1s, and when he does, it's like almost always followed by a not great performance in the 1v1s. He's very hit and miss, but today he is on. He is hitting, and it's on Sandstorm to make the adjustment as he goes over to the Mako for game number 2.
Yeah, this is an interesting choice. We've seen it from Sandstorm in the past. Of course, we saw his greatsword earlier today on the Magyar pick. Did we see the Mako pick from him? I don't remember.
I want to say not today, but it is a history book character for Sandstorm. Again,
certainly,
like you said, greatsword, a great weapon for Sandstorm. He's so good at getting those dodge reads. On the other side, guitars. I don't think Sandstorm's really known for being a guitar player, but he definitely has the guitars.
Yeah, when he plays Mako, one of the things that Snowy is certainly going to have to worry about is the signature kit that he doesn't really use as much when he plays like the Magyar. So the possibility to get an early stock without having to find a greatsword string that leads to an actual finishing move, that might be something that really plays into Sandstorm's favor here. But earlier today we saw in the Magyar, he was having to kind of fish a lot for the recovery as the KO option, and he wasn't really finding it too much because it's not the same recovery that we saw at the World Championships last year. It's been a little bit neutered since then, not quite as strong. So now he has the signatures. This might work out much better than the Magyar did earlier today.
Yeah, that Mako signature kit gives a lot of dunking potential, especially off of both of those N-Sigs, but wow, the control from Snowy. He throws out the D-Sig barely off the mark. Sandstorm slipped by that one, but still, Snowy's the one keeping the pressure on top of the Shark.
Given that Snowy isn't top 3 here, let's look just a little bit back at his history. This year, he's only placed inside of top 3 in an official tournament one time. He already gets the stock here. That's while he is still in yellow. Massive lead for Snowy on this one. Feeling good on the dome. The only time he's placed top 3 this year was Parsec Invitational. Sandstorm, he's hoping that he can add up this damage very quickly. Has Snowy in the orange. We'll see if he can knock Snowy over to the wall, maybe attempt the surf off stage.
Yeah, that surf has a lot of priority. It can be really good, especially, again, lots of horizontal distance traveled before it does the launch, so that can be big. But right now, Sandstorm just struggling to find the hits. Like, he's gotten a couple of the greatsword strings. There's the 3-piece, but even then, that's not enough to put Snowy into that KO percent. It's not enough to finish this stock and even it up.
That was from the wrong side of the stage, unfortunately, for Sandstorm. It was a little bit dry, so that was a 3-piece white instead of a 3-piece dark meat.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that's not what he ordered. He's going back to the menu, or the register, to see if he can get the correct order. Right now, Snowy looking good, though. He's getting this extra credit onto Sandstorm, and Sandstorm trying to control this middle stage. He knows that a Dare Nair will do it.
There we go.
There we go.
You know he was definitely hoping for that, but Snowy was just up elevated on the Miami Dome. We have those two soft platforms. That's kind of where Snowy was living. He felt comfortable that he could react to the recovery in time. The Nair wasn't too much of a threat to him, and Sandstorm couldn't get above him to throw out the Dare for the true Nair follow-up.
Sandstorm was really going for that chase there. Snowy really backed up. Here comes the 2-piece. There's a third one. Not going to be the big hit Dare again. Snowy's adding up this damage. Things are looking dire for Sandstorm.
I really like that Snowy went for the second second Nair instead of going for the recovery, just hoping he would find a KO there, because Sandstorm was certainly not in the position. So Snowy waited, added up that little bit of extra damage that he was going to need. There's no way he was going to hit the recovery there. So that was just kind of throwing something at the wall, hoping it would stick. Whereas now he has more damage. Even I think a Gauntlet recovery might KO here if he picks up a side air in the right place. Down signature, you saw Sandstorm dip down low. Snowy not charging that up very long, but long enough to get max distance.
Yeah, but Sandstorm really playing that footsies around those hitboxes. Snowy hits the recovery. Snowy's one stock away from taking game number 2. Snowy's looking good.
The fact that he's this confident looking in game 2 is very impressive. Like, Sandstorm is the one who is on the back foot, and that's not a phrase that I think very many people have ever uttered in their entire lives since Sandstorm started playing this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's the multi-time world champion. Like, he's destroyed many an opponent and earned his spot in those grand finals, but it's Snowy right now, someone, again, double-digit PR, who has Sandstorm on the back foot.
Still in the red. Sandstorm was struggling to find KOs before. You've seen the Nairs come out. He tosses that weapon away again. Another slow one. He almost made a move to go re-grab it, but Sandstorm was too close. This time he gets the dare into the D-Light. Oh. Not enough to KO. That side light off the stage. Oh my gosh, even that didn't KO. Nair is not a KO option anymore.
Sandstorm is struggling. He didn't get the gravity cancel. His double downlight unfortunately skipped the bridge, which means it had less force on it. Like, Sandstorm is just struggling to find that finishing blow. Snowy going for the edge guard, feeling real confident, but it's an end light recovery for Sandstorm to even this up.
Now, even though Snowy started this one off with a huge lead, Sandstorm made it quite a bit smaller, but it's still the same lead that we saw towards the end of the last game that came out with Snowy on top. So Sandstorm's still struggling. He's still having the same issues with finding those KOs. Snowy's been playing really defensive all day with his positioning, like staying far away from his opponents, using a lot of weapon tosses to get in rather than like dodging in, dashing in, anything like that.
He's got so many zoning tools. Really good dodge there. Sandstorm didn't try to take the bait, go for that second move, or that third move, that closer, but still, Snowy doing such a good job of not allowing Sandstorm to get that greatsword train and run over his opponents.
See the D-Lights coming out. Nice three-piece there, almost sending Snowy off screen. Snowy still does have the damage lead. He's getting Sandstorm deeper into the orange. Weapon toss comes out. Sandstorm still in the orange. Neutral light. Second swipe turns him red. Snowy's going to be looking for the KO here pretty shortly.
Snowy, he's in a great position. Might get a couple more dares onto Sandstorm. That's generally what's been happening, right? Is he'll get like a couple of dares, just make sure Sandstorm's very damaged, and then hit that finishing blow. Sandstorm really trying to chase, but those Miami Dome platforms helping Snowy stay high above this shark. Even though
Snowy is sort of on the defensive when he's up on these soft platforms, that's going to be it. That is it. Sandstorm finally got it. The second Snowy dipped down onto like the main platform, that's where Sandstorm had the confidence to get the dodge, finish that one out strong. When Snowy's up on those soft platforms, Sandstorm basically has nothing. Even when Snowy is completely disarmed, completely at the weapon disadvantage, you see Sandstorm just jumping around, floating, hoping to find a recovery, not finding a recovery, hoping to find an air. Even if he does find the air, it's not leading to too much. No juggle opportunities, no KO opportunities, nothing.
That was such a perfect finishing string from Sandstorm as well. Got the end light on the dodge read, which makes it a 50-50, and then went into the unjumpable, finished it with the side, which has the better force direction. That was perfect from Sandstorm to finish that one out and clutch up in game number 2. Now we're going to game number 3, and Snowy's got to be thinking, I kind of like soft platforms. He's got to be playing into those soft platforms.
He's thinking about which final map to ban. It is going to be Mammoth Fortress, leaving Small Enigma, Crystal Temple, and Miami Dome open. He early took out Small Great Hall because the way the soft platforms are kind of set up, those two on the left and the right, you kind of can't just sit there the way that you can on the two soft platforms on Crystal Temple, just because they're pushed so far out to the outside of the center of the map. If he gets hit by something in the orange there, he's actually kind of in danger.
Yeah, that greatsword N-Sig from Mako can actually snipe people off those soft platforms and get some quick KOs, and that's something that Snowy would have to look out for. So instead, go into Crystal Temple for game number 3.
Now, in case the viewers at home didn't happen to notice the stats on the last game, Sandstorm threw out 110 attacks. I'm sure you saw almost every single one of those nairs he was throwing out, the recoveries. Snowy's throwing out a lot of attacks. This game, a lot of them are connecting, but even last game, he also threw out 96 attacks. That is a lot more than we usually see from players.
Yeah, both of them really trying to fish for those attacks, but Sandstorm having the control of the weapons here in game number 3. Snowy, that's one thing that I'm going to be critical of Snowy for, is that he throws his weapons and sometimes leaves himself unarmed for a while, and you're seeing Sandstorm really try to take advantage of that.
I'm wondering if the fact that we're on Crystal Temple, given how low those soft platforms, if that's going to work a little bit better for Sandstorm, because Snowy can't actually put as much distance between him and Sandstorm to react to things in time. Sandstorm's jumping with a nair, like he's kind of right there. Neutral Light's going to send Sandstorm over the edge. Weapon toss to protect Sandstorm. Almost gets that one. Dodge came through, perfect timing. Gets the dare.
He has the jumps.
There was a touch. Oh, he didn't get a dodge off a cooldown in time.
I thought he had the movement. Sandstorm knew better. He backs off after he hits that dare. But like you were saying, the soft platforms are lower. Sandstorm doesn't have to burn as much movement chasing Snowy, which means he can maintain that pressure just a little bit better.
Gets the three-piece on that one.
Side.
Yeah, it was like the bottom back side of it. Interesting spot to hit while Snowy kind of moved back towards the wall.
Yeah, Sandstorm, you're seeing him, for the most part, go straight into the three-piece. Like, it's very rare for him to go for the reset. Oh, he was trying for something tricky, but Snowy with the wake-up, gravity cancel, and light.
Ooh.
There's the wake-up
again.
He
gets the turnaround. This is bad.
Oh!
That's the stock. Sandstorm really coming back this game. Crystal Temple making such a huge difference. Snowy is still playing around those soft platforms, but he doesn't have the time to react before Sandstorm starts to push over.
Sandstorm's so quick on that adjustment. Just a minute ago, Snowy did that wake-up, gravity cancel, and light, and Sandstorm was like, oh, you're going to probably do that again. And that's what led to the quick KO of the second stock. He got the read, got the punish, and now Snowy is going to deny the 3 stock, but he is very much behind.
I feel like we've seen more hits from the Nair on Snowy's second stock than we've seen from like the entire last game that came out, man. Crystal Temple was a great pick from Sandstorm. Snowy might end up blocking that one out, maybe leaving like a great haul open just because it might be better than this stage. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, really, Snowy's just hoping that Sandstorm will pick Miami Dome. That's the map that I think plays the best to what Snowy's going to do. But kind of like what you're saying, I expect him to leave at least 1, maybe 2 tri-platforms. But here comes the punish.
Yo, he was so ready.
Yeah, he saw that coming and was like, I have the perfect punish for this.
And that's what's so tough about that signature. Like, it does have a lot of strength on it if you get the hit, but also, like, when the wisps come out, like, the animation of the sig, you don't even have to, like, know where he's going. The wisps literally lead you to where he's going.
It gives you a dotted line of trajectory, and if you're not inside of it, you're like, oh, okay, let me just hit along it.
Sandstorm looking to close this one out here, playing very carefully. He does have the Katars in hand. He might attempt the swap over to the Greatsword. There is one here. Oh, Snowy just runs away from that one. Overspaces it with his movement. Neutral Light has Sandstorm in the red. Snowy hoping for the KO here. Only had the Sidelight neutral air as the option. Yo, that actually KO'd. I'm a little bit surprised.
The wake-up ground pound, I am equally surprised that that KO'd, but still, Sandstorm, he knows that he's like 2 hits away from finishing this stock of Snowy, and Snowy going to try to maintain this pressure, try to make sure that Sandstorm can't get the weapon that he wants.
That neutral air, that sent Snowy pretty far.
That'll KO.
And it's done.
Yeah.
That game is going over to Sandstorm. 517 damage, so a very efficient game coming out. I'm going to pull out the calculator for this one, too, because I can't do simple math in my head. 517 averaged across the 3 stocks. That's 172. That is a good spot to be in. You turn red at 150. Rarely are you actually KOing right when your opponent turns red, unless you hit something like, oh, you're hitting them with a big side air all the way on the left side of the stage or something like that. So just a little bit past 172 is solid.
Man, that is crazy. On the other side, Snowy had 450, and I was rewatching that second stock, and I didn't realize Sandstorm, I think he had a second reset inside of that, right? So he chase dodged through, got the turnaround end light, and then I think he did sidelight bridge, and then reset, dash forward to catch the jump out from Snowy for a second end light, side light, and then a side finisher. So really good job from Sandstorm getting that reset for the extra horizontal distance into the KO. Well done to Sandstorm, and we're going to Miami Dome. I'm surprised Sandstorm took this one.
You must be feeling confident after that last game. We'll see if that's well placed. So far, might not be well placed. Does find a nice 3 hit there. Oh, and a 4 hit. And backing up. 5, 6, 7 hits maybe. I lost count. It's too much for my brain.
See the side stick come out from Snowy. Sandstorm got the recovery. He's going to hit the down finisher, continuing the pressure. Down air doesn't get the bounce high enough for the nair, but he's still keeping this damage building onto Snowy.
Snowy does have the axe in hand, so his potential to build up that damage very quickly with just a few chunks might put him back. Was that a ground pound on stage? Bro, who even uses that move anymore?
That was like a pixel off of the ground. What a wild ground pound from Sandstorm. But still, he's not finishing the stock of Snowy. It's giving cracks for Snowy to get in. That's a punish opportunity, but he doesn't hit it. Edge guard. Oh, the weapon toss. The weapon toss on both sides.
Oh, Snowy's trying to get a little bit saucy on the edge. He has weapon disadvantage here. I don't know if he can grab it while still being on the wall. Sandstorm going forward and then pulling back on it in case Snowy goes for the dodge through.
Yeah, you've got a lot of movement control with that down signature. You can go forward, or you can kind of pull back a little bit like Sandstorm was doing. He's trying to bait a little bit onto Snowy. The weapon toss rockets past Snowy. Recovery, and Sandstorm takes the first stock, but he took a lot of damage.
That was a fantastic dodge from Sandstorm after his weapon toss went out because he expected Snowy to also get the dodge there so that he wouldn't get the response hit, but he does eventually get the stock pretty quickly after that. They're back to even, ladies and gentlemen. This is a good spot. We're over a minute and a half into this game.
Yeah, and Sandstorm over to the Katars now. Gets the dodge read, gets a nice recovery after the end light. Snowy back onto this corner, and Sandstorm lets him get up safely. You didn't see those down sigs that he was doing a second ago.
We saw the second on-stage ground pound coming out from Sandstorm as well, this time with the Katars in his hands. Weapon toss, he backs up, expects Snowy to immediately push, punishes the sidelight from Snowy. Big slap, has Sandstorm. Here's the power position for Sandstorm. He's backing up, really prioritizing that weapon spawn.
Yeah, didn't want to go unarmed against Snowy's gauntlets. Knows that if he plays a little too wild and crazy that he'll give Snowy opportunities to get back in. He hits the recovery, not enough. The high ceiling of Miami Dome helping Snowy live longer.
There you were seeing a rare occasion where,
he missed the sand.
He didn't have the timing on it.
The nair from deep, not quite enough. Snowy still living. What is going on?
I'm sure every Greatsword player out there is crying, hoping for a force increase on Greatsword Nair.
Oh, but they don't need a force increase on that down air as Sandstorm gets the KO. And on the other side, I'm sure everybody who hates Greatsword is very happy.
Every time a Nair hits and doesn't KO and Snowy's like deep red, the cries heard around the world. Tears of joy coming out from all Greatsword haters, including myself.
Sandstorm hits the sidelight opener, but unfortunately goes off into the air. Ooh, can't get the follow-up. Snowy getting some decent damage built up. He might be able to finish the stock off and make this an even final one, but what was that weapon toss?
Could have been a misinput. Still gets the KO there. Snowy not too far behind. Despite Sandstorm opening this game pretty confidently, Snowy has done an incredible job of bringing it back. You're seeing those weapon tosses really come back into the play style. Goes for the spot dodge there. Sandstorm just backed up. Oh my goodness! Stuck under the stage and he can't get back!
First off, down finisher, which is the slowest one, and it bumps him on the head. Second off, gravity cancel sidelight to the back of the head of Snowy to stuff the recovery and push him under the stage of Miami Dome. Like, what a wild sequence to finish off game number 4 and give Sandstorm the victory.
He started doing some weird stuff in Game 3. Snowy was completely unprepared for it. What a beautiful GC sidelight there. Knocking out the recovery, sending Snowy under the stage as well to completely take that one. Look at the damage that Sandstorm did compared to Snowy's 200, actually technically 199 more damage coming out. But also look at the attacks. You aren't seeing as many attacks coming out from Sandstorm like we did on a previous game on Miami Dome. We were looking at 110 before.